eggs. But I have gotten a really bad grass allergy.
That's okay, honey.
And I can't walk
That's all
out
right.
there.
That's
and
all right.
Somebody that I live with.
But
won't
keep in
collect
mind
them.
when you get over that allergy.
That person I live with won't collect them.
I don't know when that, I have one all year long, so I
Okay.
know it's like, yes, dear.
Perry Township meeting, we're coming to order.
Oh.
I think we should go around the table and say our names. I'm Barb Sturbaum.
I'm Jack Davis.
Sharon Yoder.
Dan Combs.
Serena Lowenthal.
Brandon Sergio.
Nancy Duncan.
And Susie Hamilton, again, honey,
Serena Lowenthal.
this is why I should have put that hearing aid in.
And then we have
What?
a guest,
My hearing-
we have a guest.
Oh, Carol Kugler.
Yes, from the HP.
All right. So we have a kind of a short agenda here. The first topic we're gonna talk about is our rainy day fund. Dan?
As you know, we have a rainy day fund that the state wants us to give to the highway department. But for the first time ever, we are at the end of the year and we are 2% over our township assistance budget. Normally, we're under it by 10-15%.
Wow.
But being the only people who gave out tornado recovery benefits, that took our cushion away. And we are actually over 2%. Brandon and I went over the numbers yesterday, Sharon prints them up, and we are going to have to dip into the rainy day fund in all likelihood to pay the end of this year's bills. Not very much for that particular part of the budget, but
Okay.
there are a couple items that we have listed here that we need to talk about to get through that we just cannot project. Because as you know, the shutdown's over allegedly. And I read a news article this morning, I talked to Serena earlier. They can instantly shut off the benefits. And they're talking a month before the money starts flowing. And
So wait a second, for Indiana, because I know Wisconsin printed their SNAP benefits, they loaded their people's cards already.
Wisconsin has concerns and Indiana's in no hurry. Wisconsin actually subsidizes their social service benefit, their disability benefits, and they have reserve funding. They were one of the states that were gonna go full bore on benefits and were told they couldn't do it. So I assume that's why they're gonna start printing immediately.
But so Indiana, even though the shutdown's over, SNAP benefits have not started flowing again.
No, we have,
January,
I haven't seen anything out of the state about when they anticipate rewinding to full benefits. And just knowing how many people come in with problems with SNAP in a normal course of events, I'm not holding my breath that it's gonna go smoothly. It may, I hope it does. It's not the caseworkers, it's that computer program they rely on. So Sharon can explain the mechanics of the rainy day fund, better than me, how we attach it and get into it. And the other is Bobby's Pantry. Julio, I've had several conversations with him. I've been on a couple panels. They were very low in food prior to this shutdown, demand. And Nancy is the food pantry director, our food pantry director, and she can tell you it's been very close, you know, instead of 2 or 3 bags per household to get them through what we consider 2 weeks, down to 1 on occasion. And I mean, that's prior to the shutdown. She's had diminished, and we've been buying to supplement, but I would like to use some of that rainy day fund before the end of the year, since we have to burn it to keep the state from making us give it to the highway department.
Right, I'd much rather use it for food.
For us to buy some bulk food. And the secondary benefit of that is if we do it strategically, Kroger's has their 49-cent turkeys. if you spend X amount,
$25, I think.
and we can all go in, employees, with the township card, buy the minimum, buy turkeys. She's got some from the Hoosier Hills, and we can increase because our long-term clients that we know don't have food. They don't expect, but they really appreciate those Thanksgiving. She's got the other ingredients to make Thanksgiving, but I would like to buy staples and be able to put them in our
Absolutely.
garages, I mean, several $100s worth of food
Yeah.
out of that fund.
Dan, have you heard from other townships how they're reacting to this?
Yes, they're busy, lots more people walking in and making inquiries. We have two ways of doing it. We have Serena is the senior caseworker now. Serena's office part of it is to write out vouchers, do the full scale application. Depending on how many sides of the paper you count, 9 or 10 pages of who are you, how many people in the household, show us ID, where'd your money go through,
A full application.
full
Right.
applications. And I asked both of them to try to come up with some idea of how much it's been in the last couple of weeks. There's been increases, but the problem with Serena's job is some people come in asking for rent because they spent the rent money buying food
Sure.
and they don't ask for a food voucher.
Right.
So it's really hard to track that way. The easy one is Nancy. They come in and just say food. But Serena can tell you our numbers are going up, obviously, for just general assistance. And Serena, if you could, and this is a ballpark because I just asked you again this morning.
Yeah.
Well, you asked how many food vouchers have we given out, and we went back to October 20th and it's been 7. I think that's an increase because it's not very common that we give out food vouchers.
That means they choose to go with Nancy normally and.
Right.
Yeah, so I counted total walk-ins, just overall who's coming in the office. And I counted, well, Nancy keeps track of food pantry households.
Yeah.
We have up until the end of October, and I also counted just for November, up until today. So I don't know how you want me to
Total walk-in.
explain total walk-ins. So far in November, so last week we had 91. This week, even with the holiday, we have 46 as of, half an hour ago. So it's probably more.
That's more than usual.
I think we've, a
And
huge.
how many in
increase.
October?
Total in October, I was breaking it down by the week.
Oh, okay.
So the last week of October, we had 107. And the week prior, we had 92. That's just walk-ins. That's not food pantry. That's just people walking in.
So Serena, do you know the percentage of estimate how many of these people are first timers?
That's hard to, that would be hard to
Yeah, I don't know
determine.
how you do that, but I was just.
Yeah, is that something that you're tracking?
On my part, yeah, we had about 70 to 80 new households. And then the rest are normal people, so,
So that's
Wow.
quite a bit.
yeah.
That is.
We had quite a jump.
70, 80 in November or
Well,
October.
at the end of October to now, we're at about 70 new
Wow.
people.
That's a lot of
That-
new
that's a
households.
lot.
That is a lot.
Hmm.
So. Now, there's this thing too, that it's just out there that happens. Once people find this, it's the sound of music. They never let us go. So, and that's not a bad thing.
Right.
It's just, that means they know they have us as a backup. So we can anticipate of those 70 or 80, a sizable percentage of those are gonna put us on their rounds. I was on a forum Sunday, Randy Rogers United Way brought it up, and he always gets looked at when he does this because it's a turf issue. But he said that he would like to see a change, that people play baseball with food pantries, that we all have limits. It's once every 2 weeks here. but that people to get through, if they rely on food pantries, have to go to food pantry to food pantry to food
Oh,
pantry
yeah.
to try to get balanced diets. And I had talked to a food bank person and had earlier, and it said, what we see is people who have mobility go to food bank to food bank to food bank and end up with a surplus. And people who don't have mobility come to us and
Don't get
then
enough.
really string it out
Mhm.
because they can't go, and that's an inequity. So you end up with some people having a lot of food and some not. And so Randy and I are kind of on the same songbook, and I've got an email drafted that I'm trying to get my typos out of the way. To send him that, you know, between the two of us, we might be able to hone that presentation up. That, we're both hitting around the same thing. I don't think we have it precise enough yet, because there's always reaction that you're trying to cut us out of that food. I don't want to run it. I just don't want people to run themselves to death. There's one large food pantry that we can't get legitimate numbers out of, that claim anybody can come in and they won't give our numbers. So we don't know if our clients are going there too or not. And that's a real issue. In particular, like when we have our beef or when there's Thanksgiving, because that, for some people, the people in our parking lot, those big ticket items become commodities for sale, trading, things of that nature, you know, I mean.
But Dan, I don't think you can cut that out. I don't think you can make people not do that.
Well, when you have a plethora of them, when you tap 2 or 3 sources for the same things, it's,
Well, we don't want secondary markets, obviously.
Yeah,
We don't
that's-
want people selling our stuff,
Yeah.
but
Right.
we know our clients, and people that don't have refrigeration don't get frozen goods.
Well, are you saying then, Dan, you're thinking people are going to food pantries who don't need to go to food pantries?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's always been our philosophy, if someone says they need food for whatever reason, whether it's a psychological or what. And, you know, Pat and I have a huge warehouse of food at our house that we don't need.
mhm.
But if I find stuff for sale in bulk,
So
I
Barbara,
need to buy it. So, in times of stress like this, it's, you know, I just have a visceral reaction to sending a whole larder out the door with people and then turning to other people and saying, well, you should have been here earlier. So this is one reason I want to buy a huge warehouse that we can put in our garage so that we don't have to start downscaling for that next person that comes in. Randy's the mastermind on programming, so I'll let him run with the ball, but I wanna talk to him about. Instead of, you know, because I know he's gonna get into people's turf, they just react that way. And it's not shutting anyone down, it's just putting a little bit of organizational.
What organization is Randy with?
He's the director of United Way,
Oh, United. Way.
yeah, and, you know, they've always tried to streamline it so that they're not having duplicate services out there. Yeah,
um. So. People. Wanting food, and hey, I understand that, I've been there years ago. You say they go from A to B to C to D to E. Do these places that have the food, these pantries, do they let the other pantries know that John Doe came and got 10
No.
cans of something?
no, it's,
Or another said, hey, Mary Jane came and got 10 cans of something.
no,
So how do you keep them from going from A,
that's,
B, C, D, E?
well, that's what I'm gonna,
I know if it's federal food, you can't say no, but there has to be some way to keep track of who gets food at what place, because like you say, they end up with
That's-
cases of food and they go out and say, hey, I can sell this one for 75 cents instead of $1 at Kroger's or
That's
whatever.
and it's not a huge problem. It's just that when it's as tight as it is, you know, like I said, I'm trying to keep everything in a huge organization. And that's a Randy problem. It's a logistical problem. There's no way if Nancy's got those numbers that she can call on every client.
Right.
And there's just no way to do it. And, Derek has to stop sometimes and help bag stuff, Serena, everybody has to pitch in. And that's my final thing on the food pantry. We have a budgeted position for a part-time temporary pantry person. Pat Murphy used to do that for Bloomington Township. And he doesn't do it anymore. He's a Perry Township resident, and I spoke with him at Pat Williams Memorial and asked him if he would consider doing it. Nancy, for whatever reason, may have to take a leave, and we need someone because the caseloads are up. So to pull someone off of that to try to do it, Derek has his rounds on all our property. If he would pull him off of it, to have someone that knows how to do it so that we're not pinched. And it's not a permanent benefits position. And Patrick doesn't want that because he's on retirement and everything. But he said that he likes working with people. And he has that experience with the food pantry at Bloomington Township. And this is Nancy's first hearing of this.
Yeah.
But Patrick is a really amiable character, and I think it would fit in with the staff here.
What's his name?
Patrick Murphy. And I'd like to be able to talk with him further about it. He was really kind of honored that I thought of, but Fry brought him up to me when I said, you know, we're getting swamped and Nancy can't take 6 days without everybody else having to.
Right.
And
The experience would be good. He has that experience.
yeah, and he's good at defusing things. And the staff just took a defusing.
Is this something, Dan, the board would have to approve?
No, we have it in the budget.
Okay.
And, but I just wanted to tell you that we've never hired that person before, but it's getting to the point. And, I don't know where we'll put him, but one step at a time. And, it's just, this is one I had to take a couple, 3 weeks off just to deal with stress issues. And it's this whole career that I've had, once I think we've surmounted the obstacles here, someone else hands us obstacles. And again, when it comes to that thing that once people find us, they find us. And again, it's not a chronic problem of large scale of people doing that thing of going to different places for benefit, their own benefit. But it is, they do have to go shop around to get through periods of low, and working with Randy on how do we address that. It's the big driver of food insecurity in Monroe County is rent and housing. That was you yesterday with the rent, $1,600 for a 2-bedroom place.
Base rent, yeah.
Base rent with fees on top of that, stuff like laundry, you know, and they're really part of the rent because you have to pay them. But
Right.
that's a lot of money for 2 people.
Yeah, it is.
So
So, and Nancy, you give out food and items to people you know that are part of this. Does other townships do the same thing, or do they just do walk-ins? People come and walk in, or do you know?
Some of them do. The trustees pantries, they all require them to be part of their township like we
Okay.
do. There is some pantries like Mother Hubbard's, Pantry 279, all them, they take anybody. So
Oh,
it
okay.
just depends on.
Yeah, well, I didn't know if that would help the problem of, let's say, me going to every township, going to every food pantry and loading up with 2 or 3 bags of food and that I don't actually need. But, you know, I can get it, and I don't know if each township pantry just says, if you're not a member of this township, then you're not on our list. If you wanna get on our list, you have to go through a case manager and see if you qualify or something like that.
The townships are just, they're not half of the food pantries.
They're not what?
Half of the food pantries in the community. We don't make up half of it. If you get, well, first off, if you get federal commodities, the first time in, everybody gets them. The
Yeah.
second time in, we can ask for IDs and pinpoint,
Okay.
are you in the township? And we can direct them to the right township.
Mhm.
We don't have to serve them. Our food that we purchase, we can limit to people in Perry Township, we do. So if somebody comes in when we're really short and they just walked in and said, I live out on the street somewhere, we can limit them to commodities.
Good, good.
And then the second time, they have to show us something. At
Good.
least tell us what park bench they sleep on or something like that.
We have to maintain respect for people who come in and it's a tough time.
Oh,
and
sure.
If you're having to go to a pantry for food, you're pretty hard up, I think. So
Right.
I would say unless it turns into a terrible, terrible problem, somebody reselling,
Hmm.
we should do what you're doing now, which is helping people get
Well, and
food.
at this
Yes,
point, we
Barbara.
really don't know if it is a problem, is that right?
Well, Dan says it's not much of a problem.
Yeah,
It's not much, it's just one of those grading factors that, and I think Randy's like me, he's wanting to get ahead of it. It's not gonna get any better until things change higher up. It started when Indiana put the food stamp amendments on, or the SNAP amendments on, and you've gotta have, if you're a single or a couple, you've gotta do the job search or 20 hours of looking for work. And see, it took me forever to adapt to the idea. You don't go hands, not, are you looking for work? You don't do that anymore. You get on a computer and you search Indeed, or you go,
It's all online.
you know, Levi was unemployed for a long time, and I'd say, have you looked for work? And you go, well, yeah, I've been filling out applications online, and it just horrified me, and since then, you just gotta know, that's the way you do it.
Yeah.
Which makes me a dinosaur. But, you know, I don't know, I just, some things have changed. When all the people were sleeping here, the number one thing that was trash was pre-cooked food that people were getting, whole cakes, things like that.
Dishes, donuts.
Yeah, that were coming out of food pantries. Because the bread, and now Panera we're on Panera's list, and they give Nancy far too much stuff. For the employees have to take some of it, but when someone donates, you take it, that's the rule.
Oh, yeah, they say thank you.
And, but used to-
Our church, okay.
It all went to one place, and so they just. And, but if you talk about going into the homeless camps, what you see are lots of pre-cooked things, you know, and
Well, they don't have kitchens.
they don't have kitchens.
Right.
And that, when people yell about the unsanitary conditions, a lot of the garbage they're talking about is stuff like that. And that, which means you have to go back every couple, 3 days to somewhere to get that, because there's no way to store it.
But the other issue on the other side of that is they don't have trash bags.
Well, that's true.
I mean, did you know that?
I
One of
never
the,
thought of it.
one of the homeless people told me they weren't, that the city would not allow the employees, city employees to give any of the homeless trash bags. Catch 22, it's like, they're mad that there's trash, but they won't give them trash
That's
bags.
ridiculous.
And we've got trash bags around. Derek still has morning when he comes in that there's garbage,
Yeah, I mean, we
But-
offer an outside trash can,
but it's nothing like it was.
but I think just, I mean, it's not funny. You know what I
No,
mean?
it's not
I mean,
funny.
I'm laughing, but it's because it's so crazy that they won't give them
Dan, how is our
Complain about the
protein supply at the moment?
We have a cow we're picking up
Monday.
last week. And now it's to Monday because it's a new, I don't know, meat processor.
Right,
And, they've just gone into business recently,
Where are they located?
no, they've been. in business.
Bloomfield,
Oh,
but that's not a new one,
It's been there quite a few.
it's a new one
years.
for us.
It's new for us, yes. Lighthouse, it's on the other side of Bloomfield, because the one that was there burned. And I thought it was the same people, and they just moved locations. But maybe I'm misunderstood that, but they've been there for quite a while.
The,
Lighthouse.
the one we were at, was Red Buffalo, and they were incrementally increasing the prices to where it was becoming real expensive to get meat processed. So the farmer we get our animals from is in Morgan County, and he's really reliable. And we have it scheduled to the end of my term, once every 3 months for beef, and then once every 3 months for pork. So through the summer with the county fairs, and then we get things donated there. We actually got a cow donated from county fairs this year,
wow.
and that's remarkable.
We got a cow and a pig, didn't we?
Yeah, but they go fast, and Nancy's job, she's got, you get this much. And the only problem is whenever she has things for the bigger families like roast or things like that, she's very delicate about. Please don't advertise you get these, because then you get why did they get this and I get this?
Why'd you get a roast and I got hamburger?
Yeah. And it becomes an issue. I got a call, well, actually a series of messages once that someone out of Van Buren Township, we heard you're gonna have meat on this date. When do we come over and apply? And I was like, you live in Van Buren Township, go ask Van Buren Township. And it was like, well, why don't they do it? Well, you go ask Van Buren Township. And it was kind of shocking because we had just got a pickup date for it, about 2 weeks. But we're making the adjustments for food, I guess, and it's gonna take some of the rainy day fund. And Sharon, can you explain what we did when we did it, so we can access that money?
Well, we appropriated it. Is that what you're wanting to
Yeah.
know? I mean, so we did a resolution like we do every year when we move money. And then in the resolution, we say, the board says what we can spend the money on. And so we have that, budgeted. So we budgeted 100,000 for 2025, but we spent some of that on the roof, I think it was. I didn't print out what we spent.
So,
I
yeah,
think it was the roof. So we still have roughly like 75,000 in rainy day that is specified. So if for some reason we would need to spend more, then we would just do an additional appropriation.
So you'll just take it out a little bit as needed.
We can definitely do that. So it'll be in the rainy day fund, but it'll be, it'll be in the rainy day fund. We can spend it out of that because you gave us permission
Right,
to do
right.
that.
But I'm not gonna spend $75,000.
Yeah.
right.
Excuse me, Sharon, if it comes out of, I'm sorry.
No.
Rainy day fund, do you all automatically take it out, or do we vote on a certain amount that this
No,
can go to
since-
this?
Since you, when we did the budget, Dan decided how much we were gonna allocate out of the rainy day fund just for this year. And so you already approved the 100,000,
Mhm.
which, because we had some big expenses like the new roof. So since you already designated that, it's already appropriated. So we don't have to do anything else this year in order to spend that specified amount out of the rainy day fund. And that's because, we've spent quite a bit out of what we already had allocated for money out of the food pantry. So we've broken it out the last 2 years, I think you've had me do, so it has to come out of community services. So it cannot come out of township assistance money. That was something that's been the same since we had Guy Loftman as our lawyer. So Dan had me do a line item just for the food pantry, so we would, I mean, it's easier to track that way. And we've spent quite a bit out of that.
This is one of those things where it's already appropriated, but I've always told you if we ever get into the rainy day fund, I will come and tell you.
So it's a communication.
So Jack, didn't you say in January, we could allocate money to some of the other social service organizations that we did not?
That's a total.
Was that in
different thing.
January, you said?
That's not out of the rainy day fund.
No, that's a whole different issue,
Okay.
yeah.
Once we know how much money the state's gonna cut,
Uh,
which we'll get on our, Dan and I were just talking about that this morning. So we'll get what's called a 1782 form, and that's the official form that the state sends to us of our approved budget. So we'll know when we get it, how much money they're cutting. So what Dan was saying, and probably what you're thinking that Jack said was, at the beginning of the year, we'll know how much they cut. And then we can do an additional appropriation to
Okay.
add back in,
Out of our general surplus.
out of our general surplus.
General, yeah.
Which they
okay.
also want
Thank
to
you.
give to the county highway.
So right now, we have a balance of 75,000 that we've already, given you permission to.
Correct.
use as needed.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
To spend as on specific things, and then, and that's one of them. I mean, it tells. I guess I should have highlighted exactly what we could spend it on, but we're safe.
And just so you know, I was supposed to, a last minute invitation appear in front of the county council to talk about disaster relief and why townships should not be in charge of it. And that was supposed to have been Tuesday of this week, Monday of this week, excuse me. And then the agenda fell apart, and the last invitation was, we can come into public comment, and I said, no. So I'm supposed to be on the agenda next month, and the number one thing I have listed is somebody has to have a checkbook other than us. And that is the main argument. We're the only ones that can write checks without going through hoops. The county's argument is we can't appropriate money and let it sit there waiting on disaster, that you can write a check because you've got a budget. And well, yeah, but we run out of money like this year.
Yeah,
And it's just,
good luck with that.
yeah, there's about 20 other things we've discovered. I'm not telling them how to fix it. I'm just telling them it's a problem.
Okay, so we're moving on now to the holidays, the scheduled holidays for 2026. I don't think this has changed. This is the same as 2025.
We just go by the county.
We go by the county
Yeah.
and well, election day next year, we have election day, we didn't have it this year.
Okay,
Correct.
It was a floating holiday
Yeah.
this year.
okay. All right, does anybody have a problem with these
No,
holidays?
I have the official ones.
Oh, okay, I just signed this one.
I'm sorry.
So I move that we approve these holidays for 2026.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Okay,
there's a lot.
it seems like a lot, but
The
you
only
know,
difference, I think, is the election day.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't have it for this year.
That's 2
Because-
days is the election days.
right, primary.
Yes,
Yeah,
And now we're lucky, I guess, we've got a new governor and he hasn't designated any new holidays. That's normally traditional for state employees, is they
Mhm.
designate a new holiday to give everyone a big.
Good for Susan.
we couldn't get the cities though, could we? We always try to.
message and never gonna call back.
So while you're signing, I did find the thing that says what all we can spend our rainy day funds on. So we can use it for poor relief obligations if we ran low in township, we need to reword this because it's now called township assistance. We can use it to emergency purchase of equipment. If we needed to pay wages and benefits, and any other purpose for which the township monies may be expended. So,
Pretty,
I knew
pretty open.
I knew, well, I think
I mean, that's what rainy day funds are.
it is it's emergency, and if we have to purchase food, that would be an emergency.
Okay, Dan, do you have any others?
Brandon, you got anything on there other? The only, I just have, details here. I am not running. I've committed to that. I had to take some time off the stress level. So I'm oozing out like slime under the door, making little changes in the office. You know, I've heard cases for 39 years. Brandon is going to hear cases. He hears them when I'm not here. Sharon hears them when I'm not here. He will hear that I'll sit while he's hearing them, and he'll still bring really tough ones and the denials to me to read. But he's going to be the hearing officer.
Congrats.
My doctor's advice was take out all the unnecessary decisions in your life and quit running your blood pressure up to the levels that you don't need this. So I thought that sounded like good advice.
So Dan, it's only been 30 years.
39,
30.
Almost 40.
38 and 10 months.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, and now I got rave reviews on you making township presentation at the women's
Oh,
conference.
thank you.
That of the 3 people, that you were the one that explained what townships do.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, he really was bragging about you the other day.
That's.
I remember when you, I think, first ran down at, that farm, whose farm was that? He also sat on, the council, I think, or the commissioners, and,
Warren,
huh?
Lawrence, Henniger.
Yes. Down on his farm, that's the first time, basically, I ever met you was down there. I think you were running for this, actually. And then, like you said, about before he passed away, a few years or two, well, you got so much money, Perry Township, give that to the county.
Yeah, that was Warren. That was Warren. And nobody ever listened to me back then when I said, Barb listened to me, and Jack maybe, that, you know, they're
No,
gonna try
Jack
to
did.
raid us. You know, they're gonna look and see that townships have money, and they're gonna try to raid us.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Last
they have
night,
been for a long time.
last night, it's official now, we can talk about it. Ellisville Town Council presented a proposal that Richland Township merge
I saw that.
with county, township wide with the township. And so it's kind of like the Bloomington annexation program for Unigov, completely for the whole thing. And there's no law that allows that. We can merge with Bloomington Township if we want. We can't merge with Bloomington.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
says that, Debbie advised them, what was it that, cause she said you were correct, that
It's,
it's not allowed, that it's, it falls under the Modernization Act. That they're, so you were right, they're not allowed, one taxing unit can't merge with the other. Townships can merge, so Richland can merge with, Bean Blossom.
but Eric Cook is their lawyer and he's a state senator, so we can do anything.
It's really, it's not a good thing.
But I'm out of here in 10 months. I mean, I love.
Me too.
Are you retiring too?
Yes,
Well,
Really?
What do we?
anybody else want to be here?
yes.
Yeah, they're gonna-
It'll depend on who's gonna run.
The hardest thing was thinking about
It'll depend
leaving
on
the
who
staff.
runs.
They've been really good and they are really good.
It
But
changes things.
my health is like, you know, I don't wanna keel over.
Well, we don't want you to kill
I've
over.
already done that once. And
Yeah, please don't.
Yeah.
So I need to talk
Okay,
about meeting
so-
dates.
All right.
That's it, I think.
Well, I need to talk about meeting dates.
Okay.
Sharon.
So,
Yeah.
we have to do our election of officers, and that is by statute. It's the first Tuesday after the first Monday in January, which is January the 6th. So the first Tuesday after the first Monday is January the 6th. Can you all meet on January the 6th?
Yes.
It's good for me.
Okay, cause it's really not, it's a statute, it's really not negotiable.
Okay, and what time do you want us?
We could do 11 if you like 11. Do you all like
That's
11?
good.
Is that a Tuesday or Thursday? I don't
That
know.
is
It's
a
a Tuesday.
Tuesday, because it's the first Tuesday after the first Monday.
You're right, after the first Monday.
And then we have to do the annual report meeting. And that one is on or before the third Tuesday after the first Monday in February. So I would like to have it as late as possible. I would really like to do February the 12th. Now, Susie, you can only do Tuesdays and Thursdays, correct?
Or after 4 o'clock,
Yeah, we don't,
or before 8:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
Uh,
But I can do Zoom if that's
Well,
possible.
it's an annual report meeting, so if
Tell me the date you want again.
I would like to do February the 12th, which is a
Well,
Thursday,
February the 12th, okay.
as long as you're not on
Oh,
vacation or.
The 12th is a Thursday.
February the 12th is a Thursday, but yeah, I was trying at 11.
At 11.
Okay, if something happens, we could do February the 10th. I mean, if the 12th is fine, we have until February the 17th. So if something happens and we can't do the 12th and it snows or, there's a
Sure,
blizzard, we could still change it to the 17th. I mean, the 16th is a holiday. Worst case scenario, we could do it that day, but
So we're looking at January 6th and February 12th.
correct.
Gotcha.
January 6th,
And I'll email you confirmation.
February 12th.
Hopefully, we have the authority of the state by that time on what our budget is gonna be at either one of those
Hopefully.
meetings.
Yes.
And if we have it in time for the 6th,
Glad you
we'll
said
have the
that.
additional appropriation things done. If there's an advertisement, that may scrunch it, it may have to go to that other meeting. We've got enough money to make it through, it's just those agencies that are waiting on their checks may have to wait a little longer.
So I'll add that to, because it's all done online now for additional appropriations. It's actually an easier process than what it used to be, where we had to advertise and fill out the forms and send them
Sure.
in and everything. It's all done online through Gateway, and that makes it a little bit faster. So once we get the 1782 form, then we can know whether we can do an additional appropriation. So hopefully we can have it done by January the 6th. I'm
Do you
saying it
have
out
a
loud.
feeling one way or another on that, how that might go?
I think we're gonna be able to do the additional appropriation, don't we?
Yep,
I mean, I really feel confident that we'll be able to.
they used to wait, we didn't get them until February, but Sharon says in the last 3 years or so, they've been getting them in November and early December.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm expecting the 1782 form anytime.
All right, sounds good. Anything else?
I'd like to commend Nancy here for not putting up with, but being able to stay here after 177 walk-ins in 1 week when they found out SNAP might be discontinued. And I'm sure that's why you got so many people that came in, I would assume. And, but you're still here, so it's a good thing.
She does a great job.
Yes, she does.
And it's this crew too, I mean, they assign cases at the beginning of the day,
True.
but when people are walking in and no one knows what they're for, somebody can move the counter.
Yeah.
And, believe it or not, we just got a new revised 4-page application for the state that we immediately rejected because I couldn't fill it out. And I'm serious.
We didn't know about it.
It's,
did we?
it's so dense and full of stuff. It had one section that was one I ran into. It had 2 things you could fill out. It said, list all of your expenses that do not show in your bank records. And it had 2 slots.
What does that even mean?
So
Well,
maybe you pay
You only
cash.
pay 2
Do
things.
you itemize those things or just the amount?
Can you itemize everything that you paid cash for in 2 slots? And Brandon, he looked at it, same thing, your eyes glass over.
Yeah.
They literally took 10 pages and instead of shortening the form, they just compressed everything.
Yeah, but we didn't even know, we attend all those meetings. I mean, you didn't even know about it either, did you?
At the conference, when she was talking about it, everybody in the area was like, what? We didn't know that was officially approved. She's like, oh. So,
Did not know.
yeah.
But your last thing is, my office has been reconstructed in-house and it's 80% complete. If you wanna stop over and look at it, the only thing that was not done in-house was replacing the carpet that was there, which was really needed replaced.
But you have guppies.
And we have
Couldn't
guppies,
it?
and there's an empty desk there that will be used by Sharon and Brandon when the reports are due.
Absolutely.
Because they don't.
Yeah.
They won't have to sit and
Makes
listen to the
sense.
toilet flush and the phone's ringing.
Yeah.
They will have quiet.
And Sharon, I remember, and I don't, you all might remember. 1 or 2 years ago where a report, made up a report how much the caseworkers saves
Oh, yeah.
the
we do that.
township,
We do that every year.
by referring the, will you be doing that again sometime?
Yeah, we have to.
That's Brandon's baby.
Good,
Yeah, we have to do,
good. I found that
that one is,
very fascinating
that's a
how
mandatory.
the
form.
case managers actually save this township a lot of money.
Okay, meeting is adjourned.
All right,